Hello, I'm Amelia Ruby, and welcome to my tiny tarot practice. Today, we'll be discussing the Two of Wands. In the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the Two of Wands pictures a figure wearing a bright red hat and a long burgundy cloak who's standing on some type of balcony. It looks like the top of a castle. And they're looking out over a beautiful landscape full of lush green and blue water and mountains in the far away. And they're holding in their hand a globe, holding this globe and looking out upon the land in front of them. And this card I found as I've been researching for this episode and reading the books that I love to consult has a few conflicting meanings among tarot interpreters. A common reading of the Two of Wands is that this figure on top of the castle, as I'll call it, is discontent. This figure has obviously achieved success, as noted by their fine clothes, by the globe in their hand, but many interpreters take their kind of gaze into the far away as one of disappointment. And a common interpretation of this card is that it's about feeling stuck. So Jessica Dorr in Tarot for Change talks about how this card represents the disappointment of achieving what we want. And Rachel Pollack in 78 Degrees of Wisdom argues that it's about success without contentment. I can certainly relate to that feeling. Over the past few years, I've achieved what I thought would be some of my life's biggest successes and then felt pretty hollow after them, if I'm being honest. I found it hard to feel success in my bones, is what I want to say. But I think what I mean by that is the success just didn't penetrate into my emotional landscape. I didn't feel the joy or contentment or comfort I thought that it would bring. So I certainly relate to that feeling. And of course, I imagine it to be reflected somewhere in the tarot. But I have to be honest, the Two of Wands doesn't feel like that to me. It also doesn't feel like another interpretation of the card that I found in Jessica Crispin's The Creative Tarot, where she argues that the Two of Wands is about a person in a position of power, enjoying their stability and expanding horizons, and now looking to the scope of what they can accomplish. I don't feel that sense of dominion from the Two of Wands either. And I think some of that has to do with kind of the way I see the tarot at large, which is I really like to view the major arcana as a journey, a series of journeys, and then the minor arcana as a series of journeys as well. I think each suit in and of itself is an entire journey. I think we see a journey within the suit from the 2 to the 10, another journey in the court cards, a complete journey from the ace to the king. I love the way all these journeys are layered in the tarot. And because of that, it's so hard for me to imagine that Wands, this creative suit of passion, of fire, starts with a moment of utter stuckness. I think there's something for me in that challenge. Perhaps it's the tarot's way, it's the Rider-Waite-Smith way of saying, you're wrong, Amelia. That's where it always begins. Obviously, they're not speaking directly to me, but I often feel like the cards are directly calling me out or in. But I think that for me, the Two of Wands gets at something about the relationship between process and product. And I think the Wands as the suit of fire, as the suit of action and energy, love process and are less concerned with product. Product, I think, is the realm of pentacles, and we'll get there. But I think Wands love process. But that doesn't mean that Wands don't also love pausing, to eat, to drink, to have sex, to be merry, to create in those ways. Those can be moments of process and product simultaneously. So when I look at the Two of Wands, I think it marks this moment where we see process and product commingling. We see a snapshot of someone in creative flow. And we see the way that we can create anything. We hold the world in our hand. And the Two of Wands, I think, will be very different than perhaps the King of Wands, where we have an actual communing with and mastery of that power. And the Two of Wands, I almost feel like this globe doesn't belong to this person holding it yet. It's more of a novelty. Perhaps they've glimpsed something of it, but I think that actual dominion, to use a word I used earlier, that comes with the king or the court cards in this suit. So perhaps the Two of Wands has just borrowed it at the very beginning of the journey. Or, in the tricky way of the tarot, snatched it for a moment. For now, that's how I'm relating to this card. If you'd like to read any of the books that I've referenced here today, I've included them all in my bookshop list, which you can find in the show notes below. If you make a purchase through that list, I'll get a small affiliate payment, which will help provide ongoing support for this podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to my tiny tarot practice. Be well and talk soon.